Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sleep Space. Tonight, we will talk about a fascinating idea that challenges how we think about time, consciousness, and reality itself. We will explore the concept that your past, present, and future are all happening now, simultaneously, through the lens of the block universe theory and timeless consciousness. Wherever you are in the world, and whatever time it is for you, I invite you to take a moment and notice the experience of this very instant as we dive into these mind expanding concepts. Time feels like a steady river flowing from the past through the present and into the future. We often experience life as a linear progression of events, memories behind us, the present moment unfolding, and the future still to come. Yet, modern physics and philosophy suggest a profoundly different picture. According to the block universe theory, sometimes called the eternalism view of time, all moments, past, present, and future, exist equally and simultaneously in a vast four-dimensional space-time block. This idea originated from Einstein's theory of relativity. When Einstein developed special relativity, it became clear that time is not an absolute universal flow, but depends on the observer's motion and perspective. Events that seem simultaneous to one observer may occur at different times to another, moving at a different speed. This relativity of simultaneity undermines the notion of a universal present moment and opens the door to viewing all moments as equally real. In the block universe, the entire history of the cosmos, from the Big Bang to the far future, exists as a timeless, unchanging four-dimensional structure. You can think of it like a loaf of bread, where each slice represents a moment in time. All slices exist together, just as all moments in time coexist. Our experience of moving through time is then like sliding your finger through the loaf, moment by moment, but all the slices are already there. This view contrasts with the more common idea that only the present moment is real, and the past is gone while the future is yet to be determined. Instead, the block universe says everything has already happened, is happening, and will happen. Past events are not erased, future events are not waiting to occur. They simply exist in the block, waiting for conscious awareness to experience them sequentially. But if the block universe is true, what does that mean for free will, change, and consciousness? How do we reconcile our sense of time flowing with a timeless cosmos? And most intriguingly, how does consciousness relate to this timeless framework? Some thinkers propose that consciousness itself is not bound by the linear flow of time. Instead, it may be a form of timeless awareness that accesses different moments within the block universe. This concept, sometimes called timeless consciousness or atemporal awareness, suggests that the self is not a point moving through time, but a continuous presence experiencing the entire space-time block. Imagine your consciousness as a beam of light illuminating the loaf of time. While your physical brain appears to move through time linearly, your true awareness might transcend this flow, perceiving time more like a whole landscape than a line. This could explain phenomena such as déjà vu, precognition, or even the feeling of timelessness during deep meditation or altered states. Many ancient spiritual traditions intuitively grasped the idea that time is an illusion or a veil over a deeper reality. Modern physics and philosophy are now converging on similar insights, bridging science and spirituality in unexpected ways. Understanding the block universe and timeless consciousness can profoundly change how you view your life and existence. If your past and future are as real as the present, then your entire life story is already woven into the fabric of reality. The moments you've lived, are living now, and will live are all part of a grand tapestry beyond ordinary time. As we explore these ideas in depth over the coming parts, we will look at the scientific foundations of the block universe, its philosophical implications, the nature of consciousness, and how these concepts challenge our everyday experience of reality. We will examine how physics describes time, the experiments and theories that support eternalism, and what timeless consciousness could mean for your sense of identity. And since this is sleep space, a place for gentle reflection and relaxation, I encourage you to settle into a comfortable position, breathe deeply, and allow these concepts to open your mind to new possibilities. No need to rush or analyze, just observe and wonder at the nature of time and your place within it. Wherever you are listening from, and whatever time it is for you, thank you for joining this journey into the timeless cosmos. Let's begin. Time, as we experience it, seems deeply intuitive and self-evident. We remember the past, perceive the present, and anticipate the future. But when we look closely, both through scientific observation and philosophical inquiry, the nature of time becomes far less straightforward. To understand the block universe fully, it helps to start with how physics describes time and space. Einstein's theory of special relativity revealed that space and time are not separate entities, but are intertwined into a four-dimensional continuum known as space-time. Events in the universe are located not just in space, but also in time. This fusion of space and time changes how we think about the flow of moments. If space and time are connected, then just as all points in space exist simultaneously, so too might all points in time. One of the key discoveries in relativity is that observers moving at different speeds or in different gravitational fields perceive time differently. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, has been experimentally confirmed many times, such as with precise atomic clocks flown on airplanes or satellites. Time is relative, not absolute, which means there is no single universal now that everyone shares. Because simultaneity depends on the observer's frame of reference, what one person regards as the present may be the past or future to another. This breaks the idea of a universal, flowing present moment. Instead, the universe's history can be seen as a fixed block, with all events, past, present, and future, laid out together. To better understand this, imagine a cosmic movie reel. The entire film exists as a complete strip of frames. We perceive the story unfolding because our consciousness watches the frames in sequence. But all frames already exist on the strip. The block universe suggests that all moments in time exist like frames on this cosmic reel. The philosophical term for this view of time is eternalism. Eternalism contrasts with presentism, which holds only the present moment as real and the past and future as unreal or non-existent. There is also the growing block theory, which states that the past and present are real, but the future is not yet determined. Eternalism aligns closely with the block universe, because it treats time as a dimension similar to space. Just as every location in space exists, every moment in time exists equally. The passage of time is then an emergent property of consciousness moving through this four-dimensional structure. This perspective raises challenging questions. If the future already exists in the block universe, what does that mean for free will? Is the future fixed and predetermined? Many physicists and philosophers debate this, and there is no simple answer. Some argue that free will is compatible with a block universe if we consider that conscious beings experience time sequentially, making choices within the structure of space-time. Others suggest that quantum mechanics introduces fundamental uncertainty that leaves room for genuine freedom. Regardless, eternalism requires rethinking causality and change. In a block universe, cause and effect are embedded within the space-time fabric. The entire causal history is part of the block. Change is not the block itself moving or evolving, but rather the structure of events arranged in the four dimensions. This view does not negate our experience of becoming or growth. Instead, it locates that experience within the bigger picture of an unchanging space-time landscape. Your birth, childhood, adulthood, and all future moments exist in this vast structure, each as real as the others. Modern physics continues to explore these ideas. The merging of quantum mechanics and general relativity in a theory of quantum gravity may shed new light on time's true nature. Some theories suggest that time might be emergent or illusory, arising from more fundamental, timeless laws. These scientific advances resonate with ancient philosophical and spiritual traditions that have long contemplated time's illusion. Many traditions teach that true reality transcends temporal flow, and that the self is ultimately timeless. As we delve further into the block universe and timeless consciousness, keep an open mind to these radical possibilities. We will examine how consciousness itself might fit into this timeless structure and what it means for our understanding of self, identity, and existence. For now, reflect on the implications of a universe where all moments exist simultaneously, and consider how this shapes your understanding of your life's journey. The concept of timeless consciousness invites us to reconsider what it means to be aware and how our experience of now fits into the larger fabric of reality. Traditionally, consciousness is seen as a stream of moments, each passing into the next, tied closely to the flow of physical time. Yet, if the block universe holds, then consciousness itself might not be constrained by this linear progression. Timeless consciousness proposes that awareness is a fundamental, ever-present field that exists beyond time. Rather than being a point moving from past to future, consciousness might be better understood as an all-encompassing presence that simultaneously contains all moments in the block universe. To imagine this, think of consciousness not as a flickering candle flame moving along a dark corridor, but as the entire corridor being lit up at once, revealing every door and window simultaneously. Our everyday experience of time's flow could then be a limited perspective within this larger, timeless awareness. Neuroscience generally views consciousness as emerging from the brain's complex network of neurons firing in time. However, many philosophical and quantum theories challenge this, suggesting consciousness may not be confined to brain activity or temporal sequences. Instead, it could be a fundamental aspect of reality itself, intertwined with the structure of space-time. One of the key ideas supporting timeless consciousness comes from the study of quantum mechanics, where phenomena like entanglement and non-locality imply that parts of the universe can be instantaneously connected across space and time. This challenges the classical notion of time as a strict sequence of cause and effect, and hints at a more unified, timeless domain. Additionally, altered states of consciousness, such as deep meditation, near-death experiences, or psychedelic states, often report a loss of the ordinary sense of time passing. In these states, individuals may feel a profound sense of timelessness or eternity, suggesting that our usual temporal experience is only one mode of consciousness. Philosophers like Jem E. McTaggart famously argued that time itself might be an illusion created by human perception. His distinction between the A series, the flow of past, present, future, and the B series, the fixed order of events, challenges whether temporal becoming is real or a mental construct. Timeless consciousness bridges these ideas, proposing that beneath the illusion of flowing time is an unchanging awareness that simply observes the entirety of existence. This awareness does not move or change, but perceives all events, past, present, and future, as equally present. Such a view has profound implications for personal identity. If the self is not a transient point traveling through time, but rather a timeless presence, then who we are extends beyond the brief moments of conscious experience. Our identity becomes less about a continuous narrative and more about a vast, interconnected presence that transcends temporal boundaries. This also offers a new perspective on memory and anticipation. Memories are not just traces of a vanished past, but parts of the block universe accessible to consciousness at different points. Similarly, future moments are not empty possibilities, but already existing parts of reality that timeless consciousness may potentially access. Many spiritual traditions echo this timeless view. In Advaita Vedanta, for example, the true self, or Atman, is eternal and unchanging, beyond time and space. In Buddhism, the concept of timelessness is tied to enlightenment, where the illusion of temporal selfhood dissolves. Science and spirituality converge here, inviting us to expand our understanding of who we are and how we relate to time. Timeless consciousness challenges the idea that we are bound by the ticking clock, opening the door to a deeper, more expansive awareness. As you reflect on these ideas, consider how your sense of self might be more than a passing moment. What if your consciousness is a timeless presence witnessing the entire block universe? How would that shift your experience of time, existence, and reality? To deepen our understanding of the block universe and timeless consciousness, it's important to examine how these ideas relate to causality and the flow of events. Causality, the principle that causes lead to effects, is central to how we interpret the world. Yet, in the context of a timeless block universe, causality takes on a different character. In everyday life, we see time as moving forward. A cause happens, and then its effect follows. This intuitive notion of cause and effect seems to depend on time's flow. But if all moments coexist timelessly in the block universe, then causes and effects are part of a fixed, four-dimensional pattern rather than a dynamic sequence. Imagine the block universe as a woven tapestry, with threads representing events and their causal connections. The entire tapestry exists as a whole, with patterns of cause and effect embedded in its fabric. From inside the tapestry, conscious beings perceive causes leading to effects as they move through the pattern, but from an external, timeless perspective, the entire causal network is already laid out. This raises fascinating questions about determinism. If the future is already embedded in the block, are all events fixed and inevitable? Are we living predetermined lives with no real choices? The answer is complex. Physics provides some clues. Classical mechanics, the physics of everyday objects, is deterministic. Given initial conditions, the future is fully determined. The block universe fits comfortably with this view. However, quantum mechanics introduces indeterminacy at fundamental levels. Particles behave probabilistically, and certain events cannot be predicted with certainty. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, such as the many worlds theory, propose that every possible outcome of a quantum event occurs in a branching multiverse. This suggests that the block universe might contain a vast, branching structure of realities, each equally real and timeless. Others interpret quantum uncertainty as evidence that the future is not fixed, preserving room for genuine choice. The nature of causality may thus be more flexible than classical physics suggests. Philosophers debate whether determinism and free will are compatible. Compatibilists argue that freedom can coexist with a deterministic block universe if free will is understood as acting according to one's desires and reasoning within the constraints of the universe. Incompatibilists deny this, seeing determinism as incompatible with genuine freedom. Another important aspect is the psychological experience of causality and change. Our brains are wired to perceive cause and effect because it helps us navigate and survive in the world. This internal narrative of flowing time and causal chains shapes how we understand ourselves and our environment. Yet, if time and causality are features of consciousness moving through the block, rather than fundamental properties of reality itself, then the sense of change is an emergent phenomenon. Change happens inside the block, experienced by conscious observers as they move along their world lines. This leads to the idea that the flow of time is a form of temporal perspective. Just as a traveller walking along a path sees the scenery changing, conscious beings moving through space-time perceive events unfolding. But the path itself is fixed within the larger block. This view also opens new possibilities for how consciousness interacts with physical reality. If consciousness transcends time, it might be capable of accessing information beyond the immediate present, potentially explaining mysterious phenomena such as intuition, precognition, or the sensation of timeless awareness during deep meditation. We may not yet fully understand the relationship between consciousness, time, and causality, but ongoing research in physics, neuroscience, and philosophy continues to explore these frontiers. Experiments on the nature of time, quantum entanglement, and consciousness could one day reveal deeper truths. For now, recognizing that causality and time's flow may be emergent rather than fundamental encourages us to question deeply held assumptions. It invites us to see life and existence as part of a grand, timeless structure that encompasses all moments, causes, and effects together. As you reflect on this, consider how your personal experience of cause and effect fits into the timeless cosmos. How might your choices and actions be part of a fixed pattern, or how might they be expressions of freedom within this structure? These questions touch on the heart of human experience and the nature of reality itself. Building on our exploration of time, causality, and consciousness, it is essential to consider how our everyday experience fits into the block universe framework. While the concept of all moments existing simultaneously can feel abstract or counterintuitive, it offers a new perspective on memory, identity, and the nature of change. Memory often defines how we relate to time. We remember past events vividly and use those memories to shape our present actions and future goals. If all moments coexist in the block universe, memory becomes more than just a mental record. It can be seen as a form of conscious access to other points within the space-time block. In this sense, memory is like turning your awareness to a different slice of the time loaf. You are not merely recalling something lost, but mentally revisiting a moment that continues to exist. This can help explain why memories feel so real and why they often carry emotional weight as if they are present experiences. Similarly, anticipation and planning can be viewed as glimpses into the future slices of the block universe. When you imagine future scenarios, you are exploring moments that, from the block universe perspective, are already there. This expands our understanding of how consciousness navigates through time. Identity, too, is affected by this view. Most of us think of ourselves as continuous entities moving forward in time, accumulating experiences and changing along the way. But in the block universe, the self might be better described as a four-dimensional entity, an extended presence across time rather than a fleeting point. Visualize yourself as a thread woven through the fabric of space-time, with your entire life path, birth, childhood, adulthood, and beyond, forming a single, unbroken whole. This challenges the notion of a fixed present self and invites a broader view of who you are. This understanding also encourages compassion and acceptance. If every moment exists timelessly, then your past hardships, present challenges, and future growth are all integral parts of your being. Nothing is erased or lost. It is all preserved within the larger cosmic design. The block universe offers a way to reconcile the seeming permanence of existence with the flow of experience. Change still happens from the internal viewpoint, but the external, timeless perspective sees the whole picture at once. From a practical standpoint, embracing these ideas can help reduce anxiety about the future or regrets about the past. If all moments exist and your consciousness moves through them, then you are always present in the greater whole. This can inspire a sense of peace and belonging. Science fiction often explores themes like time travel or parallel timelines, inspired by these scientific concepts. However, the block universe differs from many fictional portrayals by emphasizing the fixed and unchanging nature of all events. The challenge lies in integrating this profound insight with the lived experience of choice, growth, and transformation. While the block universe suggests a timeless structure, our conscious experience of moving through time is real and meaningful. Philosophers have long debated the tension between determinism and freedom. If your entire life exists in space-time, can you still create and choose? Many propose that freedom arises within constraints, and that the unfolding of your life includes your genuine decisions. This view opens new ways to think about personal responsibility, destiny, and the meaning of life. It encourages us to live fully in the moment, aware that every experience is both a point in time and part of an eternal whole. As we continue, it's important to delve into how modern physics, especially quantum theory, intersects with the ideas of the block universe and timeless consciousness. Quantum mechanics, the science of the very small, challenges many classical notions of reality, including how time functions at a fundamental level. In classical physics, events unfold in a predictable, deterministic way, and time flows steadily forward. Quantum mechanics, however, reveals a world where particles exist in probabilities, states overlap, and outcomes cannot always be precisely predicted. This indeterminacy suggests that the nature of time might be more complex than the steady flow we observe. One of the key puzzles in physics is reconciling quantum mechanics with general relativity, the theory of gravity and space-time. While relativity treats time as a smooth dimension woven into the fabric of the universe, quantum mechanics introduces inherent randomness and a different sense of temporality. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics propose that the universe exists as a superposition of many possible states simultaneously, and only upon observation does a particular outcome become definite. This raises questions about the role of consciousness in collapsing possibilities into reality. If the block universe is a fixed four-dimensional structure, how does this probabilistic behavior fit in? Some physicists suggest that the block universe may be more like a branching structure with multiple timelines or parallel realities representing different outcomes. Each branch is a part of a vast multiverse existing timelessly. This multiverse view aligns with timeless consciousness by proposing that awareness is not limited to a single timeline, but could, in principle, access different branches or moments across this cosmic landscape. Additionally, quantum entanglement reveals instantaneous connections between particles separated by vast distances, seemingly defying the limits of space and time. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, challenges the classical idea that information travels through time sequentially. Entanglement hints that the universe is interconnected in ways that transcend ordinary time and space. This supports the idea that consciousness and reality are linked in a deep, non-local way, beyond the flow of time. Moreover, recent experiments in quantum gravity and quantum cosmology explore models where time itself may be emergent rather than fundamental. In these theories, time arises from more basic timeless principles or structures, echoing ancient philosophical views that time is an illusion. The integration of these ideas is still a work in progress. Physicists, philosophers, and neuroscientists are investigating how consciousness fits into the quantum picture and how timelessness manifests in the fabric of reality. Understanding these intersections helps us see that time is not just a background parameter, but an active participant in the universe's unfolding mystery. It invites us to expand our view beyond the familiar ticking clock to a richer, more nuanced conception of existence. As you contemplate this, consider how your consciousness might be connected to these quantum processes and the timeless cosmos. Your sense of self, your awareness, could be part of a vast, interconnected field that transcends time's apparent flow. This perspective not only challenges scientific assumptions, but also inspires wonder at the universe's complexity and unity. It reminds us that what we see, feel, and experience is just one facet of a deeper reality. To better appreciate the implications of the block universe and timeless consciousness, we should explore how these concepts influence our understanding of personal identity and the continuity of self across time. In daily life, we think of ourselves as an ever-changing being, shaped by experiences, memories, and choices unfolding moment to moment. Yet, if the block universe is accurate, the entire story of who you are, from birth through every stage of your life to the far future, is already embedded in the space-time fabric. This means your identity is not just a fleeting presence in the now, but a four-dimensional entity extended across time. Imagine your life as a thread running through the tapestry of space-time, where every event you experience is a point along that thread. Philosophers call this the four-dimensionalist view of personal identity. Rather than a three-dimensional object existing only in the present, the self is seen as a space-time worm stretching through time. This view challenges the traditional idea of the self as a fixed thing that persists unchanged. Instead, the self is a process or series of connected moments arranged in space-time. From this perspective, the sense of continuity we feel is not an illusion, but a reflection of how these moments are linked within the block universe. Our brains create a narrative to make sense of this flow, giving us the experience of being a coherent person over time. At the same time, timeless consciousness suggests that our deepest awareness might transcend this thread. While the body and mind change along the timeline, The core of consciousness could be a timeless presence, witnessing the entire lifespan as a whole. This has significant implications for how we understand death and existence beyond physical life. If your true self is timeless and not confined to the linear flow of events, then death might be seen not as an end, but as a transition in awareness. Many spiritual traditions embrace this view, teaching that the self is eternal and that physical life is just one expression of a deeper, timeless reality. This aligns with the scientific block universe, which sees all moments, birth, life, death, and beyond, as equally real. Moreover, this outlook encourages compassion and empathy. If all moments of your life and others' lives coexist timelessly, then every action and experience has significance beyond the immediate. It also invites us to live more consciously, aware that each moment is part of a grander whole. Understanding your identity as extended through time can foster a sense of responsibility and interconnectedness with the universe. Science and philosophy continue to explore these ideas, seeking to understand how consciousness relates to the physical self and time. Emerging theories in neuroscience suggest that the brain constructs the experience of self and time, but the nature of underlying awareness remains a mystery. By integrating the block universe with timeless consciousness, we begin to see identity as both temporal and eternal, a complex interplay of physical processes and fundamental awareness. As you consider this, reflect on your own sense of self. How do your memories, hopes, and experiences form a continuous thread through your life? And what might it mean if the you that experiences these moments is more than just a point in time? These questions invite deep contemplation and open new doors to understanding existence. They connect personal experience with the vast cosmic structure in which you live. As we journey further into the relationship between timeless consciousness and the block universe, it's valuable to consider how these ideas affect our understanding of time's arrow, the direction in which time seems to flow from past to future. In everyday experience, time moves forward. We remember the past, but not the future. We age, grow, and change in one direction. This directional flow is called the arrow of time. But why does time have this direction if, according to the block universe, all moments exist equally? Physics offers a clue in the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy, a measure of disorder, tends to increase over time in a closed system. This increase gives time its apparent direction. From low entropy, order, in the past to high entropy, disorder, in the future. This thermodynamic arrow provides a physical basis for the flow of time and explains why we see cause and effect in a particular order. It also explains why we remember the past but not the future. Our memories are records of low entropy past states. However, in the block universe, the entire history of entropy increase is part of the four-dimensional structure. The arrow of time is embedded as a pattern within the block rather than a dynamic process. From a timeless viewpoint, the increase of entropy is a spatial feature along the time dimension. This means that while our consciousness experiences time's flow and the direction of causality, these are emergent features within the fixed block. The block itself simply is, containing the full story of entropy and time's arrow. Additionally, the psychological arrow of time, the way our minds perceive the passage of time, is closely linked to this thermodynamic arrow. Our brain processes information and forms memories based on physical processes governed by entropy. Interestingly, some physicists speculate that at the quantum or cosmological level, time's arrow might reverse or lose meaning. In certain models of the universe, time might be symmetrical or cyclical, challenging our common sense of past and future. The relationship between timeless consciousness and time's arrow invites us to reconsider how we experience change and flow. Our awareness may be moving through the block in the direction shaped by increasing entropy, giving rise to the sensation of time passing. Yet, from the perspective of timeless consciousness, all moments along the arrow coexist. Your consciousness experiences movement along this arrow, but is not confined to a single point. This understanding can shift how we relate to time, encouraging acceptance of both change and permanence. It offers insight into how we can be fully present within the flow, while recognizing the timeless structure that underlies it. Moreover, this view connects deeply with spiritual teachings that emphasize living in the moment and embracing the eternal now. The arrow of time becomes a bridge between the temporal and the timeless. As you reflect on these ideas, notice how your perception of time's flow shapes your experience. Consider how moments of stillness or timeless awareness reveal the deeper nature of reality beneath the surface. In our continuing exploration, we will examine how timeless consciousness and the block universe inform each other and what this means for understanding existence, meaning, and the self. For now, let this knowledge deepen your appreciation of the complex and beautiful nature of time. As we near the conclusion of this journey, it's important to explore how the concepts of the block universe and timeless consciousness influence our understanding of meaning, purpose, and existence itself. If all moments, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously within the block universe, what does this say about the meaning of life? Are our experiences and choices predetermined, or do they carry significance beyond the illusion of time? One way to approach this is to recognize that meaning arises from the relationships between moments within the block. Your actions, thoughts, and feelings are not isolated, but interconnected threads woven into the timeless fabric of reality. From the perspective of timeless consciousness, meaning is not dependent solely on future outcomes, but emerges from being fully present in each moment as part of the eternal whole. This encourages a shift away from worrying about what will happen next to embracing the fullness of existence right now. Moreover, understanding that your entire life path is embedded in the block universe invites a sense of harmony and acceptance. Every challenge, joy, and experience is part of a coherent and meaningful pattern extending beyond individual moments. This view aligns with philosophical ideas about eternal recurrence, where existence is seen as an endless cycle or eternal presence, emphasizing the importance of how we engage with life now. Timeless consciousness also invites us to see ourselves as part of a larger, interconnected whole. Our sense of separation dissolves when we realize that all points in time coexist, and all beings are part of the same timeless awareness. This awareness can cultivate compassion, empathy, and a deeper connection to others and the universe. Recognizing the timeless nature of consciousness may inspire us to act with kindness and purpose, knowing that our actions resonate throughout the eternal fabric. Furthermore, this perspective offers comfort in the face of mortality. If your true self is timeless, then physical death is not the end, but a transition within the greater block. This can alleviate fear and open space for gratitude and peace. The intersection of science and spirituality in these ideas provides a powerful framework for exploring existence. They encourage us to expand our understanding beyond everyday experience and embrace the mystery and wonder of life. As we gently close this exploration into the block universe and timeless consciousness, let us return to the space of rest and reflection where this journey began. In sleep space, we seek not only knowledge, but a peaceful connection to the vast cosmos within and beyond ourselves. Recognizing that your past, present, and future are all happening now invites a profound shift in how you relate to time and to yourself. Instead of rushing through moments or worrying about what lies ahead, you can settle into the eternal now, the timeless awareness that holds all of existence simultaneously. As you prepare for rest or continue your day, allow this understanding to bring calm and ease. The moments you've lived and those yet to come coexist in the vast cosmic block, and your consciousness flows gently through this timeless landscape. This perspective can soothe anxieties about change, loss, or uncertainty, reminding you that all experiences are part of a greater whole that remains ever present and unchanging beneath the surface. In this space, you might notice the stillness beyond thought, the quiet presence that witnesses time's flow without being bound by it. This timeless consciousness is always accessible, a refuge in the midst of life's currents. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine your awareness expanding beyond the boundaries of time, resting in the spaciousness of the eternal now. Feel yourself connected to the vast cosmic tapestry, your life a luminous thread woven through the fabric of space-time. Our journey through the block universe and timeless consciousness reveals a profound reimagining of time, reality, and self. At the core lies the block universe theory, where all moments, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously in a four-dimensional space-time fabric. This radical idea reshapes how we think about existence and experience. Einstein's relativity dismantled the notion of absolute time, revealing instead a relativistic space-time, where simultaneity depends on the observer's frame of reference. This discovery means there is no single universal now, but a vast cosmic loaf of time slices, all equally real. The block universe represents reality as a fixed, unchanging structure that contains every event ever to occur or that ever has occurred. This challenges our everyday intuition, which tells us that time flows like a river, with a fixed past, an ever-moving present, and a future that has yet to happen. Instead, the block universe suggests all moments already exist, like frames on a movie reel or slices of a loaf of bread. Our consciousness moves through these slices, giving us the experience of change and flow, but the larger structure remains eternal and whole. Alongside this idea is the concept of timeless consciousness. While we often perceive consciousness as flowing through time, emerging moment by moment, timeless consciousness proposes that awareness itself might be fundamentally outside of time. It is a presence that witnesses all of time simultaneously, encompassing past, present, and future within a single, unified experience. This notion finds support both in physics and in spiritual traditions. Quantum mechanics, with phenomena like entanglement and non-locality, hints at a reality where time and space boundaries dissolve. Spiritual teachings often describe a timeless awareness, the eternal now, which transcends the limitations of temporal experience. The block universe and timeless consciousness together invite us to see reality not as a sequence of fleeting moments, but as an integrated whole, where time's flow is an emergent feature of consciousness moving through a static space-time. Causality, then, is embedded within this four-dimensional tapestry. Cause and effect do not dynamically unfold, but exist as patterns woven into the fabric of reality. The apparent flow of time and change is a perspective arising from our consciousness's path through the block. This raises deep questions about free will and determinism. If the future exists equally with the past, are our choices predetermined? Different interpretations from physics and philosophy provide varied answers, but the tension between fixed structure and experience freedom remains central. Our identity, too, expands beyond a fleeting self. The four-dimensional self, extended across time, redefines who we are, blending past, present, and future into a continuous existence. Timeless consciousness further suggests that beneath this extended self lies an unchanging presence that witnesses all moments equally. This integrated understanding has practical implications. It can reduce anxiety about the future, ease regret about the past, and inspire compassion by revealing the interconnectedness of all moments and beings. As you contemplate this recap, reflect on how your life's moments are part of a vast, timeless fabric, your consciousness the thread weaving through space-time. The block universe and timeless consciousness invite you to live fully, aware that your existence transcends the flow of ordinary time. Continuing our reflection on the block universe and timeless consciousness, it is important to synthesize how these ideas reshape our understanding of reality, existence, and experience. By integrating the scientific insights of modern physics with profound philosophical and spiritual perspectives, we arrive at a holistic vision of the cosmos and our place within it. First, the block universe reframes time from a flowing stream into a static, four-dimensional landscape. All events, birth, growth, decisions, endings, are already inscribed within this space-time block. Our subjective sense of now is an emergent phenomenon resulting from consciousness moving along a world line within this block. This perspective dissolves the distinction between past, present, and future as separate realities and invites us to embrace all moments as equally real. The notion of timeless consciousness complements this by proposing that awareness itself may be fundamentally atemporal. Instead of consciousness moving linearly through time, it may be a continuous presence encompassing the entire block simultaneously. This idea challenges the conventional view of consciousness as brain activity confined to momentary neural processes. Quantum physics offers compelling evidence supporting these ideas. Phenomena like entanglement and the relativity of simultaneity suggest that classical concepts of time and locality are incomplete. Time may be emergent, not fundamental, and the interconnectedness of the universe may extend beyond spatial and temporal boundaries. These insights deepen the scientific plausibility of timeless consciousness and the block universe. Our experience of causality, choice, and identity also transforms under this framework. Causality exists as a fixed pattern within the block, while the flow of cause and effect arises from our temporal perspective. The tension between determinism and free will remains an open question, with some interpretations allowing freedom within constraints, and others suggesting a branching multiverse of possibilities. Personal identity becomes a four-dimensional continuum, a space-time worm, rather than a fleeting present moment. Timeless consciousness points to a deeper self beyond temporal extension, a pure awareness that witnesses all moments. This has profound implications for how we view death, existence, and the nature of the self. The arrow of time, shaped by entropy and thermodynamics, explains why we perceive time's flow and direction. But in the block universe, this arrow is embedded as a spatial feature along the time dimension. Psychological and thermodynamic arrows align to create our experience of temporal passage, while timeless consciousness offers a perspective beyond this flow. Importantly, these ideas are not mere abstract theory, they hold practical significance. Recognizing the coexistence of all moments can ease fear, foster acceptance, and inspire compassion. Understanding yourself as part of a timeless whole encourages living with presence, purpose, and connection. In the final analysis, the block universe and timeless consciousness invite us to transcend limited views of time and self. They open a doorway to experiencing life not as a fleeting moment in an endless stream, but as a radiant thread woven into the eternal tapestry of existence. As you integrate these reflections, allow them to deepen your appreciation for the mystery and wonder of reality. May this understanding guide you toward greater peace, curiosity, and openness as you navigate the beautiful complexities of life. Thank you for journeying through these profound ideas. May they enrich your moments and illuminate your path.